Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Way the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This is a 2018 coming of age murder mystery novel by American zoologist Delia Owens. And the story also forms two timelines that slowly intertwine. The first timeline describes the life and adventures of a young girl named Kya as she grows up isolated in the marshes of North Carolina. The second timeline follows an investigation into the apparent murder of Chase Andrews, a local celebrity of Barclay Cow, a fictional coastal town of North Carolina. Later on, a film adaptation was released in July 2022 on the story. The theme of the novel is survival, necessity, and violence, and the main characters are Kya Clark, who is the protagonist, nicknamed the Marsh Girl by the townsfolk, Tate Walker, a kind and supportive friend and love interest for Kya, Chase Andrews, a problematic character who is involved with Kya, Jumping and Mabel, a black couple who provide care and support for Kya, acting as mentors. Scupper Walker, a neighbor who helps Kya with various needs. Ma, Kya's mother, and Pa, Kya's father, who are estranged parents and whose absence shapes her life. Jody, Kya's brother, Kya's only other remaining sibling who also leaves her in the marsh. Tom Milton, a lawyer who defends Kya in court. Judge Sims, the judge presiding over Kya's trial. Sheriff Ed Jackson, the law enforcement officer in Barclay Cow. And there are many other characters like Amanda Hamilton, Miss Pansy Price, Mrs. Singletary, and others who are part of the Barclay Cow Society. In part 1, which is named as the Marsh, happens in 1952, and at that time Kya is only 6 years old, and she sees her mother leaving her husband, that is Kya's father, and going away. And why she leaves him is because he is alcoholic and also he is very abusive. He uses bad words and he beats her very badly. And Kya thinks, okay, mother will return back. But what happens is her other siblings also slowly leave away. And finally, only she is left alone with her father. And one day she sees her father burning her mother's clothes and also painting. And alone when she is with the father, Kya learns to fish. And Kya's father gives her his knapsack for her collections of shells and feathers. But she does not know how to read or write, so Kya makes paintings of the objects and the marshes, creatures, and shorelines with watercolors her mother left behind her. One day, Kya actually receives a letter from her mother in the mailbox and she takes it to the father so that he can read it. But what he does is he only burns the letter and again he starts drinking and takes long trips away to gamble. Slowly he fails to return and she learns to survive by gardening and trading the fresh mussels and smoked fish for money and fuel from Jumpkin, who is a black man who owns a gasoline station at the boat dock. She also makes friends with Jumping and his wife Mabel, who actually collect clothes from all the other people and give it to her. And here in Barclay Cow, town people actually start nicknaming her the Marsh Girl because she is always very dirty and not very presentable. And on the only day she goes to school, the school children laugh at her, and the pastor's wife calls her nasty and filthy. However, she becomes friendly with Tate Walker, who fishes in the marsh. And one day, Kya gets lost, and Tate leads her home in his boat. Years later, he gives her feathers from rare birds and then he teaches her to read and write. And both Kya and Tate form a romantic relationship until Tate leaves for college. Actually, he promises to return, but he leaves without even saying goodbye to her. The part 2 is named as Swamp, and here we find Chase Andrews, who is Barclay Cow's star quarterback and playboy. Chase invites Kya, who is now 19 years old, to a picnic and tries to have sex with her. Later on, he apologizes and the two form a romantic relationship. He shows her an abandoned fire tower and she gives him a necklace of a shell he found during their picnic strung on a rawhide string. She believes Chase's promises of marriage and they have sex in a cheap motel. The relationship ends when she sees in the newspaper that he is engaged. Tate, who has now graduated from college, visits Kya and attempts to apologize to her for leaving even without saying goodbye. But she rejects him, but lets him inside her shack. He is impressed by her collection of seashells and he urges her to publish a reference book on them. And thinking that it is a good idea, Kya does so, with another book following on seabirds. And with the money which she receives by these books, she pays back taxes and fixes her home. Her brother Jody, who is now in army, returns and breaks the news that their mother had been mentally ill and had died of leukemia 2 years earlier. He says he doesn't know where the other siblings are, and he also advises Kya to give Tate a second chance, and then he leaves her and goes away. Later, relaxing in a couch, Chase confronts Kya. An argument breaks between them and Chase attacks her and attempts to rape her. But this time she fends him off and threatens to kill him if he doesn't leave her alone. This encounter between Kya and Chase is witnessed by two fishermen. And Kya fears that the reporting the assault would be futile as the town would blame her for being loose. The next week, she sees Chase boating up to her shack and she hides until he leaves. Kya is invited to meet a publisher, so she takes a bus to meet him. And she returns the next day and she comes to know that Chase is found dead beneath the fire tower with no tracks or fingerprints nearby due to the tide. The sheriff suspects murder and he gathers conflicting statements. He learns the shell necklace Kya gave to Chase was missing when his body was found, even though he wore it the night he died. Kya was seen leaving Barclay Cove before the murder and she returns only the day after Chase had died. They wear red wool fibers on Chase's jacket from Kya's hat. Convinced she is the culprit, he arrests her for first-degree murder. At Kya's trial, only contradictory and circumstantial evidence is provided. Kya's lawyer debunks the prosecutor's arguments as there is no evidence that Kya was at the fire tower on the night of Chase's death. The jury finds her not guilty and therefore she returns home and she joins Tate again. They live together in a shack until she peacefully dies in her boat at the age of 64. Later, searching for Kya's will, Tate finds a hidden box with some of her old possessions, and in that box he finds a poem that alludes to Chase's murder and the shell necklace Chase wore. Tate burns the poems and the rawhide string before dropping the shell onto the beach. And Kya is buried on her property near the shack, and the readers now know that Kya is the person who has killed Chase. The story ends here, and even the movie was a great success. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.